morning, it's me, Tali, and I'm here with book haul. Yesterday I went book shopping at my local op shop and I got 19 books for about $50. It's, I don't know, $2 something a book. Fabulous. And I picked up some real gems, I think, so I wanted to share them with you. Let me just point out we're early morning here. It's freezing and I have a little heater going, which is the noise you hear in the background, but I'm not giving that up. It's too cold. So sorry if that annoys you, but I need it. I really need it. Okay, let's start. The first book I have is The Privileges by Jonathan Day, and what caught me was it's about a couple and their journey and them building a life together. But what caught me was it says a meditation on what it means to leave the world richer than when you found it. So I hope that means richer in terms of contributing and helping the earth in some way. But this scene doesn't give me that much hope. Anyway, we will see. The next book is The Age of Grief by Jane Smiley. I think this is from the 70s. I saw on the front cover it says Pulitzer Prize-winning author of 1,000 Acres. And when I picked up 1,000 Acres, which is right next to it in the op shop, it had that movie cover, you know, when they put the movie, you know, the actors and things on the front cover of the book. I'm not into that, so I left that behind. But this appealed to me more. This is a short story and like a novella. Yes, I know I don't do that, but it had grief in the title, and I am obsessed with reading about how other people deal with grief. I don't know whether I'm getting older and that's going to happen more and more in my life and I need to be prepared. I don't know. Yeah, so this book is just about people observing other people, I think. There's one about a woman who studies the married couple next door. A man goes through, you know, Christmas with his family and has reflections after that. And the novella is called The Age of Grief, and it's a meditation from a man looking at his life and his family. So, I don't know. It appealed to me because of that word grief, so we'll see. Oh, this is a bit of fun. I think I have another one of these Mrs. Harris books. Has anybody ever read these? I think these are just lovely books about a lovely old lady doing interesting things. That's my take on it. Is that right? Now this next one, it's interesting why I picked it up. There's many reasons why I pick up books. And it could be I'm interested in the story, the cover appeals to me, it's an author that I know, and for this book, that's none of the above. I'm not into orchestral music. This is about a woman who's studying music that befriends an old musician, maybe? She's a young musicologist. Oh, and she befriends a blind music critic, and they have this love affair and yada, yada, yada. Didn't really capture me, but on the back is a tag. I don't know if you can see it. That is the price tag from Avid Reader, which is a bookshop that I adore. That is in Brisbane, in the West End. It's a bookshop in West End in Brisbane, not the West End. Anyway, and they always have just out of the box kind of books in there. Like they have all of the regular stuff, but you can find some real gems that you'd never thought about before. So when I saw the Avid Reader tag, I just bought it immediately. But anyway, we will see. I hope it doesn't languish on my shelves because of I'm not invested in the story, but I don't know. It's only a little one. We'll see if I pick it up. I need to do like Doris does and do those revisits of the book hauls and see whether I've done it, but I haven't even been on BookTube a year, so I think I'm allowed to collect books for my first year and then start looking back and realising that I'm not reading any of them. So I've got a few more months to go before that 1 year anniversary comes along. Another thing that is so fun about secondhand book shopping for me is when I find a book that's already on my like Goodreads want to read shelf thing on the app, and with each book that I pick up, I look it up on Goodreads and see if other people have read it or see what the ratings are, just in case I'm getting sucked into a cover buy. But this one was actually on my want to read shelf, and I put it there in 2017. I don't know who told me about it, but it has to be a booktuber. Somebody told me about this book. So yeah, I'm really excited. It's a beautiful book with these flap things. Look at that. So it's about Jake, who lives by himself in a farmhouse on an unnamed British island. Jake is a girl, saying it's just her untamed dog, and a flock of sheep. But then the sheep start getting killed, and Jake has to find out what's going on with that, whether it's foxes, but there's something in her past, and is it coming back to haunt her, yada yada. So anyway, it's a beautiful book, and it was on my want to read shelf. Had to get it. Oh, this has got the movie picture on it, but yeah, I failed there, but it's not too gaudy, is it? Yeah, this gets me because of the somebody dealing with suicide thing, which unfortunately touches too many people, including me. This girl wakes up one morning, where is she? In a remote Highland seaport, and she wakes up one morning and her boyfriend has died, and then she goes on this kind of epic journey afterwards. I think she ends up in the Mediterranean maybe, and it's how she copes with that tragedy. So I've never heard of this before. Maybe this is a really famous film and everybody knows what I'm talking about, but this story interested me. And then I got a Banana Yoshimoto book, Hard Boiled Hard Luck. I got it because of that author, because oh gosh, a couple of YouTubers, and I've forgotten who they are, recommended this author. So there's two stories in here, Hard Boiled's one and Hard Luck's the other. So memory forms the backdrop against which the present unfolds. Oh yeah, that could be problematic. Oh, and then Hard Luck is about a woman who's keeping vigil by the side of her sister in a coma. That's going to be heartbreaking, is it not? Anyway, I'm interested to read this author. I've heard them recommended so many times. I got this because it was had the Booker Prize sticker on it. You'd think I would learn by now that me and book prizes aren't getting along very well, but anyway, what's this about? Oh, this is set in Cape Town. Oh no, a teacher has an affair with a student? Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah, the fallout of a teacher having an affair with a student. Has anyone read this book? Sounds intense. I certainly didn't read the back. This is a complete cover buy for me. Yeah, love story with the suspense of a thriller, but I loved this cover. And when I looked it up on Goodreads, a few people that I know and I'm friends with there had read it and loved it. So, anybody? No? An Indian book. This was the winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature. This is a semi-autobiographical account of this man's first visit to India, which is where his family and his culture is from. So he goes there at 29 and stays for a year. So yeah, I guess it's kind of a travel-y discovery of self kind of book set in India. I'm totally down for that. This one is going to break me. This is, in God's house. So this is set in Louisiana in 1984, and there's a young Catholic lawyer who's asked to defend the first ever priest who's charged with committing sex crimes against children. But what happens is this lawyer gathers evidence during his defense, but then sees that there's a huge conspiracy involved that allows priests to abuse these children and ruin their lives and break them. Ugh, so horrible. So then this lawyer then goes on a crusade to fight to, bring justice for these children. It is a novel, but I'm sure a really important story. So yeah, it's going to break me. I'm going to have to be in the right frame of mind, but I'm really glad I picked this up. Learn more. And then this book looked like a bit of fun. Yeah, I think this is, Lord Lovell. I think it's just kind of a poking fun at classic literature, I guess. So he's the richest man in England, and one morning a baby appears on his doorstep, and apparently it's his, and that's the only inheritor he has. And then he names the baby Rose, and it turns out the baby's a boy. And yeah, I think it's just a bit of a fun book. I loved the moustache. The next is a nonfiction book, and This Changes Everything by Naomi Klein, and it's Naomi Klein's look at what is really driving climate change and how capitalism is ruining our planet, basically. So I don't normally dig into this stuff, but climate change is something that's really important to me and to our family, and that we're really concerned about. So I would like to get more informed and to be able to pass that knowledge on to my children if I can, and actually do something about it. So here's a step in that direction. Here's another one where I bought books because of something on them rather than what they were about. Though this was, oh no, that's not. This is the first book in this Philippa Gregory series, The Lady of the Rivers. I had this on my want to read shelf on Goodreads, so that was always good. And it's a lovely hardback and whatever, so I picked it up. And then there was also a couple of others in the series. This one is number 3 in the series, but I had to get it because it had Waterstones on it, and we don't have Waterstones here. And I was like, oh, I wonder where this came from. So that excited me. But yeah, I mean, historical fiction, I guess. Anybody read the series? Is it good? Tell me it's good, because I just bought 2 books in the series. And I picked up some Aussie stuff too. This is David Malouf. This is set in the 1820s in New South Wales, and there's a convict, kind of ex-convict bush ranger guy who is about to get hanged, and the officer that is meant to be in charge of that kind of meet at this little hut in New South Wales, and they spend the night before the execution talking, and it's about their connection and about the things that they find that are similar in them. And I guess it's sort of a meeting in the middle of people who think that they're really very different. So yeah, that sounded really an interesting story. So I was up for that. The next book caught my eye because of the cover. We Never Asked for Wings, and this woman has written a book called The Language of Flowers, so I'm figuring there's a whole nature aspect here. But then on the back it says, how far would you go for your children? And it's about this woman who is a single parent, and being terrified, she relies a lot on her mother to help raise her children, but then her mother takes off, and so then she has to try and work out how to do it on her own. It's an interesting idea, because we are all bloody clueless when it comes to parenting, I would say. We just wing it when we can. So yeah, interesting idea for a book, and I loved the cover. And then I got 2 Alex Miller books. This caught my eye because of the cover. I loved it. And I love any books about artists and their process, and especially books about somebody sitting for an artist. I think that's really cool. So this is about the relationship between a painter and its subject. So that was cool. And then this was next to it, but it also had Michael Ondaatje blurbing it on the back, and I just read one of his books and I really enjoyed his writing. So I guess this is a novel, but it says when Alex Miller's mother died, she left him with a journal, and he sort of writes the conditions of faith about his mother's life in the 1920s. She's living in Paris and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think that inspired him to write this book. So that sounded super interesting to me. So there are all of my books, just to go on the shelf in my collecting phase. I find at these book hauls, at the end I have to kind of justify my purchases, which is really interesting. And that must be because of the, you know, the booktube consumerism drama that I never watch or buy into, but is always there in the background. I think that we're all here running our own race, and I think that for me, I enjoy having the books on my shelves and going and discovering new authors and new books. And there's a lot that I buy that I don't read straight away, but I know that I'll get to them. I got another 40 years on this planet, at least. I'm totally going to get to all of these books. It just makes me happy to discover new stories and have them sitting on my shelf. So there you go. I did justify it in the end, didn't I? I hope you enjoyed this early morning book haul. You can see the morning sun creeping in now. It's going to be a lovely day. Yay! I hope that you are finding lovely books to put on your bookshelves, and I hope that you are reading something wonderful. If you've read any of these, let me know. If you haven't and want to read them with me, let me know. Buddy reads just make me so happy. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.